Who's next?
Most of those who came here to have their taxes prepared by these group of volunteers are hoping they will not owe the government any money. It's an expense they just can't afford.
The majority of our people definitely are unemployed.
For the unemployed, the idea of having to pay taxes on the benefits they receive may seem unreasonable. In fact, California doesn't tax those benefits. But it's a different story when it comes to the federal government.
Those who make more than a certain threshold do end up owing, and we do try and educate them that if you're going to make a significant amount of unemployment, you definitely should have the withholdings.
Accountant James Elleroux says whether or not you have to pay taxes depends on just how much your total income is. He says a good way to measure your liability is to add up your standard deduction and individual exemption.
Because if you have income that is equal to or less than those two numbers, you're not subject to any tax liability.
But you could end up owing taxes if you worked part of the year you were unemployed or have other sources of income such as wages from your spouse's job. If you tapped into your 401k, expect to be hit with taxes as well. That's why it's important to take advantage of any deductions available to you, including job hunting expenses.
Agency fees and travel expenses, meals, transportation, all these expenses, in order for you to claim them, you have to itemize.
Elleroux says keep in mind, if all of your expenses are less than 2% of your adjusted gross income, it's probably not worth itemizing.
And so that's the limitation that most low-income people have, because they don't have the income high enough or the itemized deduction high enough for them to itemize.
But even if you believe you didn't make enough money to itemize, many of the low income do qualify for a very important tax credit.
A big thing that we do is the earned income tax credit. A ton of people get that. That is the #1 deduction that most people get, and in addition they get the child tax credit. So if they have children, they get to file usually head of household and get the child tax credit for the kids as well.